Simply more than one days in the past, Wendy Williams, regarded to be the happiest man or woman on the planet, she received the hearing in opposition to her ex-husband Kevin Hunter, and it seemed like she may want to eventually revel in her life in peace. But apparently the combat for spousal help isn't always over, and Hunter plans to take the case to mediation. Now Wendy, who has been suffering with all kinds of troubles, including her fitness issues, and the struggle with her bank Wells Fargo, which had frozen her property, is facing, but any other ugly come upon her ex, who cannot forestall bleaching off her Wendy, is emotionally tired, and she or he isn't sure she is powerful enough to cope with a whole lot at once. Hello each person, and welcome back to Celebrity Stay Channel. We preserve our eyes on the maximum mentioned occasions in show business, and always carry you the hottest updates. Appears like we failed to even have sufficient time to rejoice Wendy's victory towards her ex-partner Kevin Hunter, when the former TV superstar became knowledgeable that Kevin nonetheless had the hazard to get his alimony again. Now Wendy panics due to the fact this ongoing conflict for her millions can irritate her fragile fitness, and even bring about Kevin's victory. But will the subsequent decide beyond Wendy's aspect, as properly live with us until the quit of this video, so you won't miss any detail. Wendy Williams turned into referred to as the Gossip Queen. Inside the United States, however, now we most effective pay attention or call. Whilst there is a multitude going on, and knowing that it turned into her ex-husband, who created this pile of Wendy's troubles from the beginning, we are surprised to listen that he continues pushing further after dropping in courtroom. Hunter doesn't even consider giving up, due to the fact the judge himself gave him a reason to maintain this charade with a lawsuit, even though Kevin's petition, become denied. The decide said that the events are to parties are to participate in binding arbitration. This essentially way that Kevin can still proceed together with his call for spousal support. And we fear that he will leave an understanding the country of Wendy's health. He has no respect for his ex-wife, and thinks approximately his own enrichment. Little does he care approximately her situation, which can also turn out to be worse at any second. Wendy has loads on her plate. Right now, she misplaced her most important supply of income. Her son is not speaking to her. Her issues with alcohol are getting worse. Her thousands and thousands are frozen within the financial institution. And on top of all that, her ex-husband is making an attempt to sue her to get some coins for his new-owned family. So of course she feels threatened by using new Hunter's claims after the court. As one source said to People magazine, her recuperation is going slower than all of us had hoped. She maintains to deal with some of scientific troubles, which includes Graves' ailment, and he or she and her crew are taking it sooner or later. At a time aside from Kevin's infidelity, one of the major blows in Wendy's life was the cancellation of her TV show, which came as an entire surprise for her. Well, due to her fitness issues, she ignored most of the very last season of the show due to the fact at that point, after Kevin got his mistress pregnant, Wendy turned into essentially on the edge, weak and most effective. Guess what number of bodily and emotional demanding situations Ance Williams needed to cope with at that point, but not most effective. Her display became canceled. It feels like the entire career of Mrs. Williams became worn out. The social media channels of her show were removed after the final episode turned into aired, so maybe it was a contractual aspect. But it looks like massive disrespect towards Wendy's effort and difficult work. It's uncertain how she managed to endure this information. But one element is for sure: it did not add many positive vibes to her messy lifestyles, other than her thriving career on TV coming to its dawn. She also misplaced all method of income, and the display creators failed to even pay her for the remaining season of the Wendy Williams show, which is ready 55,000 consistent with episode, and 10 million in keeping with year. And inside the center of all this, her ex unearths nothing higher than to sue her for not sponsoring his lavish lifestyle anymore. However, despite the fact that Wendy wanted to give him extra cash, she is incapable to do it. At the moment remaining 12 months, Williams's bank, Wells Fargo, froze her belongings after assuming that the TV superstar was the sufferer of exploitation dementia, or undue have an effect on and explosive court filings. Because of this, Wendy turned into forbidden to apply her cash and given an economic guardian who now makes all bills on her behalf. And seemingly this guardian believes that spousal help isn't that important. And despite Wendy being not satisfied approximately the state of affairs, there may be nonetheless fantastic information. Kevin does not get a dime. And even though Kevin is flawlessly aware that Wendy herself is struggling with monetary troubles, it doesn't stop him from taking her to court over and over seemingly. He predicted her to paintings on TV forever and dispatched him fat tests so he can do nothing and fortunately flip pancakes with his mistress Serena Hudson. It is time for Kevin to wake up due to the fact Wendy can barely call her own fees. One fan reasoned if someone doesn't need to paintings anymore and may manage to pay for to take care of their very own desires, you can't force them, while Wendy can decide for herself if she desires to work, or not nicely whether it's Wendy's selection to stop running absolutely or turned into she forced out of the show. The fact remains, she was the simplest one providing for her own family, which includes herself and her son, Kevin Jur, and the circle of relatives of leeches. I may want to Kevin and Serena. And now without extra alimony checks, they try all styles of tricks from begging Wendy's financial guardian to pay his bills to threatening her with new proceedings, knowing how laborious it could be for Mrs. Williams. Kevin ought to close his mouth and commit more strength to locating a proper process. But the man has no shame interior him. But for now, it is a misplaced war for Kevin, Wendy's legal professional in reality. Emphasize that as long as Wendy does not paintings on TV or has an equal amount of profits, Kevin ought to now not assume any payments from her. But one in every of Wendy's current statements turned into a sparkle of desire for her ex-husband. The former TV host stated, "I'm going to be back on the Wendy show, bigger and brighter than ever." Nicely, we are not sure that she supposed being returned on TV due to the fact her show were canceled entirely. However, Wendy has currently announced that she turned into operating on her personal podcast. Perhaps Kevin and Serena are confident that they can get a piece of the podcast revenue. It is why they preserve unnerving Wendy. With proceedings, Serena even had the nerve to criticize Mrs. Williams publicly on her Instagram. She published a tale analyzing satisfied and healthful. Is all I'm on right now the clickbait is real. I wager they want the storyline to continue for a podcast. Loads of fans are enraged by way of such audacity. They can't trust that Kevin isn't able to digest the reality that his time of mooching is over, and he must discover something better than looking to milk Wendy's accounts. They strongly disapprove of his conduct and ask him to depart. Wendy, by myself, one character commented at the modern scenario, simply one instance of ways God does not bless mess. He left his spouse for his mistress, and now he can't pay his bills. Make that girl get a process and move. Observe for one together with her. And any other fan stated sad that he as man expects her to pay him no show, so there is no money for him. Clever to structure a lemony, primarily based on if she has the display. It is so unhappy to peer Wendy's comeback being delayed because of Kevin and Serena's pathetic proceedings, and lovers agree that Wendy's health is in priority. In the meantime, they are impatiently awaiting her to be again in that red chair and serve them some suitable tea. However, so long as the pair of moochers is hovering above her, this is probably hard. What do you think? What do you watch? What Kevin's expectancies to get Wendy's money are based on apart from his audacity. Percentage your reviews within the remarks. Hunter, we actually need to realize what you are wondering. And as continually make sure to offer this video big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We will be again very soon with the updates on this drama.